Chapter 21. Something Fluffy. Blue. The next few days pass in a haze. I'm not allowed out of bed, but it's not like it's been in the past. I'm not in constant use or tied to the bed frame. Instead, I'm allowed to lounge, sprawled on the bed, wrapped in the fluffy comforter. Master stays with me most of the time, arranging books and components for school. He jokes about the tyrannical teachers and extensive syllabi, but I try to take in all the things he explains. I busy myself with memorizing which books go to which class. They all have vaguely different colorings and images, so it shouldn't be too hard to fetch the right one. He pets me sometimes, and I try to purr and persuade him to rest with me, but that is the one thing that's changed. Over the next nights, I'm alone in bed. The medicine soothes the pain, and Master exercises great caution in healing my feet this time, obsessed with getting it exactly correct. The walking goes better every day, but I know that no matter how much Master praises me for my steps, he's worried about the coming school year. By the time I'm fully healed, it's the day before the semester begins. I wander down the stairs by myself, far too proud of the minimal task, but set on finding Master. It doesn't take long. He's in the kitchen, but instead of cooking, he's wrapping bundles in sets of crinkly paper. "Oh, hello! Did you get down okay? Are your feet hurting?" His concern is almost comical. "No, Master, I'm fine. But what are you doing?" The kitchen smells of fresh herbs, and there are many more bundles hanging to dry, but they alone cannot account for the smell. I take the opportunity to sink to my knees in front of him and pick up the fallen petals and leaves. The floor looks like an herbal war zone. "Oh, I was just going to make a run into town and fill these orders before we get really busy with school. A lot of people really enjoy my components, although some of them are just in it for the herbs." He finishes tying a piece of string around the last of the bundles and wipes his brow. "You really haven't gotten a chance to see our area. Blue, I don't want to push you, but do you think you'd be up to coming with me?" I'm unused to downtime. Unassigned and without work from my master, these past few days have been very peaceful, but also quite restless. I do not enjoy sitting still. It makes me anxious, and I know that every day I fall more and more in debt to this wonderful man. I don't like the scratching, but I get so far into the whirling spiral of thoughts that it becomes a reprieve. I've had to hide the reddened areas from Master, and I've only been careless enough to break skin twice. I need to do something for Master. "I would love to see more of the area, Master." "All right." He looks me up and down, and I realize with a flush that I'm still in his clothes. "We'll need to pick you up some clothes on this run, too. Don't worry, I'm sure the general store will have something in your size. And then we can go into the markets and get you some proper clothes, that will accommodate your extra appendages." I flick my tail at the dig, but nod with him at the sentiment. I have to wear Master's clothes very low on my hips because of my tail. The walk into town isn't too terrible. We stop at a lot of houses, and the consistent breaks give me a chance to rest. When we stop, the people in the houses exchange coin for Master's packages. They seem to know him well. Many of them fawn over me, chiding Master for not telling them he'd gotten a pet. Only one is rather aggressive, insisting that I should be collared and leashed. My thoughts go back to the nice leather one with the shiny blue bell. I shouldn't be sad. I really haven't done anything the past few days to earn it. Eventually, we make it into the district market. I follow Master closely, quietly, just trying not to be noticed. I don't want anyone calling Master out for not following the leash law. Sometimes it is overlooked if pets are very well behaved off-leash. The bundles run out, and we have a chance to breathe after all this running around. The market is slow today, but I enjoy the easy stroll down the streets. People are always interesting to watch. There are a few children out playing. Someone's bustling about doing errands. There's another person just sitting out under the suns on a bench, just taking it in. It takes me a minute to realize I've slowed, just watching the people in one of the green spaces. Master hasn't noticed and continues to walk on. I jog the few feet of difference and get back into the safety of Master's radius, trying desperately to look like a good boy who's following his owner. I don't have a collar, but no one would mistake me for a stray when I'm so obviously following behind someone, right? I close the distance just a little more. Master holds the door open, and I stand aside until I realize that there was no one behind us. It's just me. He was holding the door open for me. I can feel my cheeks turn a messy red as I duck my head and walk through the door held open for me. The interior of the store is a bit cooler than outside, even with the nip of fall coming. The walls are painted gray and the floors match in color, but not quite in hue. There's a scent of artificial flowers and cleaning chemicals, but nothing too strong. I doubt Master could even pick it up. Rows of aisles align themselves before us with the small open areas promoting specific products, and I'm overwhelmed. Master pulls up beside me with a small rolling cart. "All right, we need some basics for the house, and then we're going to pick up some clothes for you, okay?" I nod, still trying to take in the whole of the store. I must look very amusing, because I can just hear my master's chuckling under his breath. I put a hand on the cart and force myself to only look at the tiles. I won't get in trouble if I move with Master's cart. I'll be good, and it'll be just like following a lead. "Blue," Master brushes his hand through my hair. "You can look around, okay? Tell me if there's something you like or want to know about, okay?" I nod to him, offering a weak smile that he seems to accept. I try to keep my vision at chest level and continue to hold onto the cart like a stubborn child. I don't know if I'm allowed to be untethered inside this building, but I'm trying to play it safe. It's not until I feel a small zing of pain that I realize I've started scratching my arm again. I quickly place both hands on the cart and follow Master's lead. We pick up milk, eggs, butter, simple kitchen needs, then a bottle of detergent and fabric softener. It doesn't seem like much when Master says he's done, but then again, Master lives very simply. Not that there is anything too complicated at this general store. We move on to the aisles at the corner of the store. Basic towels, sheets, clothes. There's a warmth in my chest as Master starts holding up different sizes of shirts and pants, trying to find what size suits me best. It's embarrassing in the middle of the store, but no one is around to see it, so I don't know why my heart is going so fast. Once he decides on a size, Master starts piling up different sets of clothes. He sends me into the next aisle for socks and underwear. The aisle I step into has a lot of children's clothes, and as I walk through, I watch the ages progress and the sizes get bigger. The packets of clothes are still too small, though. Eventually, there are sections of toys, varying wildly in age range and function. Dolls and many sets of clothes for them. Building blocks that will lock together by themselves. Magnetic rune stones that will pull themselves together to form random words. This isn't something that I've really ever gotten the chance to see, though I guess I have seen pieces of these things out of the package. I never imagined that the boxes they came in would be so colorful. There are more dolls, little plush horses and dogs, but what gives me pause is this light yellow circular pillow with a face and triangular ears pointed straight up. The stitching on its face is minimal, but it's fairly plain that the two lines are meant to be closed eyes, and the curved stitching just below it is meant to be a mouth. It's meant to look like a sleeping cat. The material stretched around the pillow looks soft and plush. It's not too big, just a little bigger than my chest. It would fit snugly in my arms. I know I should move on, find what Master sent me for, and return to him, but I'm fixated on this round little plush toy. I want to know what it feels like. The soft fluff is short, and I've never seen material like that. The little stitched face looks so serene. I want to trace the careful stitch work. I reach my hand out and stop just a few inches shy of the display. I want to know what it feels like, but I really should ask permission. I don't think Master would deny a simple request like this. Then again, I'm broken out of my thoughts as a hand clamps down on my wrist and wrenches me away from the display. The hand is connected to a very angry-looking man in his mid-40s, wearing a vest with a tag that presumably states his name.
And just what do you think you're doing? Where's your owner? Why are you not on a leash?
I'm sorry, sir. My master. I'm too surprised to get out a single coherent sentence before the man continues barreling on.
You a stray? You wandering into my store trying to steal?
I'm going to protest when a stinging blow lands on the side of my face. It's a hard hit. Tears bloom at the corners of my vision and I taste blood inside my mouth. I think I bit my tongue.
I won't have any of that in my shop.
He starts pulling me, and it takes a second before I realize I'm being dragged.
Come on now, out with you.
I pull on his arm, trying to dislodge myself. I need to get back to Master. Please, sir.
Mr. Hardale.
I hear Master's voice, and I redouble my efforts to get out of the man's grasp. He's distracted by my master as well, apparently, and I pull free from his grasp. I barely feel the impact my shoulders take when they hit the tile floor. I'm so singularly focused on scrambling behind my master's legs.
Blue? What's going on? Is that thing yours, Kara?
My face presses into the back of Master's legs, and I feel the childish urge to squeeze my eyes shut and pretend that what I cannot see can't see me. I want to melt into this floor. How stupid am I, that I can't even go an aisle over and bring back what my master requested?
Yeah, sorry, Mr. Hardale, this is Blue. I just got him a few days ago. Is there a problem? Well, yes, I would say there is a problem. Your little pet is running around with no leash, no collar, and trying to get into my merchandise.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry, Mr. Hardale. There's a pause as the man just scowls down at me. I duck back behind Master's legs.
Blue, apologize to the man.
I hold back the whimper working its way through my throat. What else will Master have me do to make it up to Mr. Hardale? It's best just to comply now. I'm already on my knees. I bow low enough that my nose touches the floor as I try to squeak out my apology. I'm sorry, Mr. Hardale. I didn't mean anything by it. It will never happen again. And I mean it. I never want to be so monumentally stupid ever again.
Well, that's all well and good, but what was Blue disturbing?
The man points to the shelf with the plush toys. I feel my face heat and my heart wither. It seems so stupid now.
Blue, which one of these were you touching?
I wasn't even touching any of them. I was just curious. I want to tell Master, but I know that distinction doesn't mean anything. The yellow furred pillow sits innocently on the shelf alongside all the others, but I can't bring myself to lie. I point out the one in front that I had been just about to touch. Master takes it off of the shelf and puts it into the cart.
Don't worry, Mr. Hardale. I'm still learning a lot about how this stuff works. Blue will be properly collared by tonight. And there will be repercussions for his breach of conduct and respect?
Yes, sir.
Blue will get exactly what he deserves.
My stomach sinks at that. If only I hadn't gotten curious. If only I had just asked Master's permission. That rejection would have been harmless, most likely. He doesn't punish for questions. We're done after that. Master goes to get the last of the items himself, and I just walk numbly behind him. There's a girl at the counter up front who marks down our purchases, and although I'm doing my best to remain unnoticed, her attention fixes on me when Master turns to bag the items.
"Oh, look at you! Such a sweet little thing!"
I try to shrink back a little. I don't want to get into any more trouble with Master, but I also don't want to make her angry.
"Come on, over here!"
She's waving her hand well within my sight, like she's trying to catch my attention.
"Come on! Do you want a treat?"
A few weeks ago, if someone had told me that the prospect of earning a treat would have anything less than my full attention, I don't think I ever would have believed them. I sneak a rushed glance at Master. The girl is being quite noisy and shameless about getting my attention and giving me a treat. Will Master be mad? I don't know what to do. Does he find this situation annoying? He's just loading our items into his bags. He doesn't even seem to have noticed. Or at least his body's not showing any signs of violent outburst, though he does seem a little stiff. I decide to quiet the girl before Master takes any more notice. I step forward and raise my head so that she can see that I'm tracking her hand with my eyes, showing her she has my attention. It only takes her a second to see, and she opens her hand to reveal my prize. It's a wafer treat cut to look like a bone. It's not a treat for my kind, but it won't make me sick, I don't think.
Now, sit!
I can tell by her voice that she's smiling. I wish I shared her excitement. I go down on the floor and sit on my heels, crossing my hands in my lap. Though the pose has its own name, this is what most people mean when they tell me to sit.
So good! Now down.
My body moves without me thinking about it. I lay my palms and forearms flat on the ground and set my stomach and chest as low to the ground as I can get them. There's a stain on the floor in front of the counter, and I focus on that. My face feels warm, and for some absurd reason, I feel like I'm gonna cry. I hope she doesn't have too much more for me.
Last one! Speak!
I open my mouth, but there's no sound that comes out. I feel something burning in my throat, and if I make a sound now, it's going to be a sob. I focus on the stain on the floor and try to swallow down the pressure, the heat that's staining my face red. It feels like my throat's sandpaper rubbing against itself. I know what she wants from me. I've done it before. I've done it to make owners and guests laugh. So why can't I do it now? I shut my eyes. I'm not in a position where she could see it anyways. And try to focus.
Meow.
Would you stop tormenting my familiar? Master's voice is cold in a way I haven't heard it before. In a way I never want to hear it again. I made the wrong choice in engaging this girl. He's angry at my performance. I'm wasting his time. It's all I can do to stay still, trembling on the floor.
Oh! I'm sorry, sir.
I feel a hand twist in my shirt, and that's all the warning I get before Master pulls me back to my feet by the scruff of my shirt. I can feel my heartbeat in my ears. The lady holds out my treat, and I take it from her with my mouth. It tastes old and dry, flavored with something that I might once have mistaken for peanut butter if Master hadn't shown me what the real thing tasted like. My stomach turns at the taste, and I remind myself of how thoroughly Master has been spoiling me, how Master promised I'd be punished when we get home. We walk in silence, but I'm thankful for that. At least I can't dig my grave any deeper. I wonder what he's gonna do with me when we get home. I don't think he'll beat me. School starts tomorrow, and I've just barely gotten to my feet again. He wouldn't go back on all his hard work, not in front of his peers. The same goes for locking me in the basement. There's not enough time for it to be a really suitable punishment. Though the sensory deprivation always did make time move slower, it's too much of a comfort knowing it will only be a matter of hours before I'm removed. It would also be time-consuming for Master. Only really big houses would do punishments like setting you alone in a dark room, but that's because there's someone to take your place. Most of the time, no one really knows you're gone. You're just an interchangeable cog to them. Sometimes they forget. I keep my eyes trained on Master's back, 3 steps behind like I should be. He doesn't seem volatile. It probably won't even be that bad. He may smack me around a little, nothing that won't fade before tomorrow, but it'll all be fine. There's a little yellow ear sticking out of Master's bag, and I realize that he actually bought the plush toy from the store. Master has so few things that aren't necessary, so why did he... Suddenly I'm struck with a terrible thought. My first master had a family, wife, daughter, son. They were an upstanding family that represented all the virtues that their high society friends seemed to hold dear. I was younger than the son, maybe 5 at the time when I learned about candle lights. The time of year in winter when everyone gets to experience a little magic, mage, commoner, or noble. The son had told me about it when I was taking away the dirty linens, covering for one of the maids who'd come down with a fever. She was one of Chef's friends, and he'd promised me he could sneak me some extra food if I did it without getting caught. The son wasn't supposed to be in the room at the time, but when I asked him, he swore he wouldn't tell anyone. As I went about his room, he talked out loud at me about the upcoming holiday and how excited he was for the presents. It was then that I confessed not knowing anything about the holiday, but instead of discouraging him, it just made him want to tell me more. Every other day, while the maid recovered, he talked at me, filled my head with ideas of the holiday until the time was finally upon us. I saw the change in some of the older servants. They gathered together in groups of family and friends, and once the chores were done, they sat and laughed, gave each other small handmade things, and embraced. The work wasn't any less, but there was magic in the air. There was no reason, but everyone was happy. Everyone had someone to be with. Chef had come down with the fever his friend had, and though I tried to rouse him for a story, I didn't have much luck. I wanted to share the night with someone, but the other servants already had their groups, and with Chef unavailable, there was really only one person I could think of. I found the master's son in his bedroom, new toys and clothes strewn about the room. I had just wanted someone to talk to, just wanted to not be alone for the night, but he insisted I take one of his old toys, a stuffed bear, obviously well loved, if a little worse for wear, but to me it had been perfect. Its fur stood up scratchy in patches, and it was missing a button eye, but it was my most precious treasure. I didn't let it go for the whole night. That is, I didn't let it go until one of the wandering guards for Master's home found me wandering back to quarters after hours. I watched the bear burn. There wasn't anything I could do. I hadn't even had it for 2-3 hours, but it felt like I had been burning in that fire. Apparently, I cried too loud for that to be the only punishment for the night. I was sent to bed with 10 lashes for wandering about past curfew. Truly a gift. I realize I've been walking on instinct when I hear the jingle of Master's keys as they fit into his door. We've gotten home, and I feel tears running down my face. Quickly I wipe my eyes and cheeks with my shirt before Master can turn and see, but I don't know why I bother. It's the only punishment that'll mean something in this short amount of time. Destroy the little plushie that I sullied with my touch. I didn't even get to touch it, though. I'll never know what its soft, furry material felt like. I bite the inside of my cheek and resolve not to cry. I'm not the simpering toddler I was all those years ago, even though it really does feel like I am. Blue, come over here. Master's voice sounds tired, but quiet. Annoyed, if anything. I thank the stars he doesn't sound mad. Maybe it won't be that bad. I wander into the living room with him, but freeze up as he picks up the bag he's left there for the past few days. I sink quietly to my knees and try to control my breathing. He's going to beat me. I shouldn't be surprised. I did cause quite a bit of trouble at the store, where he obviously knows people, but I thought my place as his familiar would keep me at least a tiny bit safer, make him just a little more reluctant to hit me. That bag has the riding crop he bought for me, and I know I've earned its use. Blue, what are you... You know, this position works just fine. He sounds disinterested. It won't take long for him to grow bored of this. I should be grateful, but I'm so tightly strung that the only thread of sanity I have left will be snapped when Master tells me to take my shirt off so that he can commence with my punishment. I feel his fingers brush my neck, and I startle so badly that I'm genuinely surprised I don't bump my head on the ceiling. I didn't think he'd strangle me. I didn't think he'd have the heart to try and choke the life out of me. I lock eyes with him, entirely expecting to see the eyes of a hardened predator, ready to wrap his hands around my throat and squeeze. I don't see an incredible transformation, though. It's still my master before me, matching my posture on his knees in front of me. His eyes look shocked, not crazed. In his hands he holds not the riding crop, but the collar I'd discovered so many days ago, pretty blue bell tinkling. And suddenly his outline is blurry. I suck in air like I'm dying as I try to reconcile what my eyes and mind are telling me. Blue, are you all right?
I shake my head, and whatever words I was trying to speak only come out as a mournful sob. Blue! Blue, I'm gonna hug you, okay? Don't freak out. I'm grateful for his warning as his body slides against mine. He's warm, and I immediately focus myself, trying to hear his heartbeat. I need his scent. I need to ground myself. Blue, take it easy. Just breathe, okay? Here, come on. Try to match my breathing. He presses me against his chest and breathes in deep and slow, exhaling the same way. I force my overactive lungs to follow his direction, follow his breath. It takes a minute before my breathing evens out, but Master continues to hold me after my heart calms down as well. There's comfort in the soft movement of his hand in my hair, the other tracing small patterns down the side of my body as if I were a nervous horse in need of soothing. Blue, how... His speech is garbled in my mind, and no matter how much I try to pay attention, the words are just inarticulate sounds to me. Yes, Master, I answer without thinking. It's always a good answer. Blue, that's not an answer. How do you feel? I feel my face heat. Stars, he's going to think I'm not listening to him. Not that letting him know I'm so distracted in my own mind is that much better. I hesitate a moment, taking the time to actually think about my body and mind, run myself through a simple mental checklist of what I need to feel stable. I feel much better, Master. I find my words eventually, but Master does not push me off of him. He simply continues sliding his hand through my hair, repeating the simple patterns down my side. I'm grateful. I don't want to be let go of just yet. So, there are some leash and collar laws that I didn't know about. He says it as though he's trying to make conversation. And here I thought Anthony was just being a dick to you. Anyway, I picked up this collar when I first got you, but I'm an idiot, and I just entirely forgot to give it to you. He holds up the collar so that I can see it this time. The bell is just as shiny as I remember it, and the desire to put it on is intense. I want to belong here. I want to belong to Master. I'm gonna put this on you, okay? I just don't want you to panic again. My face is beet red as I bare my neck for the collar. I almost don't believe how easily it goes on, how freely Master gives it to me. He buckles the strap, and just like that I am securely his. Owned. Safe. Now no one will mistake me for a stray. With Master's assistance I get to my feet, though my knees feel like jelly. I say as much, and Master gives me a crooked smile. Yeah, we did walk quite a ways today. At least we know for sure that your feet are completely healed, though it will take some time for you to build up your endurance. Master picks up the bags from where he'd placed them when he came in, before turning to me. You can go upstairs and grab some rest while I put these away. We've got a big day tomorrow. I'll wake you for dinner. How does that sound? It sounds like heaven. It sounds like something so much more than I deserve. But I don't question it, and head for the stairs. Blue, wait! Don't forget this! I turn around, and Master has the little yellow feline pillow in his hand. He's just holding it out to me, and even I'm not dense enough to think he means anything else. But is it really okay to take it? I've gotten him into so much trouble over it. What kind of person would reward a misbehaving pet? Blue, take it. I hesitate only a moment longer before chancing words. I'm sorry, Master, but I was such trouble today. Are you really going to let me hold this? Master's eyes narrow, and my hand goes to clutch at the bell on my collar. I just got it. Will Master take it away so soon? Blue, you're not just going to hold it. This is yours. He waves the little pillow in the air at me to emphasize his point. He pauses and leans in, voice quieter as if he's telling me a secret. and I have to lean in just to hear him. I'm trusting you with something very important, okay? This will be yours, and no one else's. No one will be able to take this from you. Not even me. This belongs to you, and you are responsible for it. Do you think you can handle it? My first instinct is to argue. I don't even own myself. How does Master expect me to own something else? But this Master likes to have different at-home rules. That much he's made clear from day one. It scares me, but I believe him entirely. Out of everything in the world, this little plush toy is the one thing that I own. I'll be allowed to hold it and squeeze it and pet its soft fur whenever I want. It doesn't mean I won't get into trouble for having it in an inappropriate situation. It just means that Master's given me a gift. Not just a toy, but a promise. Master won't take it from me. It belongs to me. With reverent hands, I reach out to take it from Master, wary even as I reach out that he'll snap his hand back and laugh at my foolishness. But I take it from his hand, the soft, plush fur of the pillow immediately giving way to my fingers. I don't think I've ever felt a softer material. I thank Master profusely and nearly bound up the stairs, launching into bed with my new companion pressed against my chest. Despite all the setbacks, today was one of the best days of my life.